There's another quarterback, Russell Wilson, who may have a little drama in Seattle. What are your thoughts about that whole situation?
Last year we said let Russ cook, and right now something's cooking. And when there's smoke, there's fire, right? Um, Last year was not a great year for the Seattle Seahawks. I know from a defensive perspective, I'm saying, hey, I'm a D line coach, and you should never have a secondary guy leading your team in sacks. Yes, Jamal Adams is special. But when he's leading the team in sacks, I have a problem because I'm going to my D line room and going, really? Seriously? Seriously? This is what you got? Because unless Russ is cooking and firing on all cylinders at all times in all games, you're not going to win the season like that. And we saw that they struggled. So I don't feel like they've had enough around Russ, right? It shouldn't just be Russ cooking. It should be like, hey, what is the team doing? And I would be frustrated with him. Now, do I want to get away from a Metcalf? No, because that guy's a beast.
Yeah.
But if, for him to have said something after all this time, it really does seem to me like there's more behind the scenes. Now, it could be a bargaining tactic. It could be like, I just want you to know that, like, I'm not always going to be the guy who's just happy at all times. But, I do have to believe that is a bit frustrating. What do you think?
I believe that Russell Wilson is looking at everybody else. He's judging himself next to Tom Brady. He's judging himself next to Aaron Rodgers and being like, I want to be in that top 5. I want to be in that top 10. There's reports that he's been saying that. I don't know how real that is, but Russell Wilson is a guy that, of course, he's been awesome. And I would argue it's been more Russell Wilson than Pete Carroll over the last few years because that defense has fallen off a little bit since the Legion of Boom. But you're right. The main thing seems to be that he wants more protection. He doesn't want to get sacked. That's at least what has been leaked out there. But I think the defense is the main priority. They just released Carlos Dunlap. They need help with the pass rush there.
Yeah, we need some pass rush, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, that's what I talk about. And for me, it's all about the trenches, right? Can you protect your quarterback and can you get after the other quarterback? If we can win those battles, then we can do a lot of other things. But if you're
Yeah.
not getting after the quarterback, then that means Russ has to outpass everybody. And that means he has to be protected. And wouldn't have either of those for the Seahawks last year. Now, I am going to correct one thing though, because I don't really like is it a quarterback versus a coach? Because they work hand in hand, right? Like
Of
they
course.
always go together. So I don't, even, it's like that Belichick Brady argument. Well, yeah, Brady is who he is, but a lot of that came up through a Belichick system. So it's not a fair thing to just separate and say, oh, which one was it? Because would he have been that guy if he had not had that system around him, if he had not had those draft picks around him, if he had not had, that tutelage built into him? But yes, part of him being that guy is the competitive nature that he brought to work every day and his ability to bring everybody up around him. So, I think we got to look at them together. As part of it. And yeah, you might get divorced at some point, but
Hmm.
you never actually erase that marriage that you were in before, even if you might want to.
Right. I think with the Seattle fans, they're all saying, well, he's a defensive coach. What's wrong with your defense? And the offense has stayed stagnant. Their scheme hasn't evolved. They run the ball and they don't, put the ball in Russell Wilson's hands. They're their best player. I think that's where all of that comes from with Russell Wilson. I think he's starting to buy into it. My question to you is, in the locker room, if you were another coach or another player that maybe doesn't really know what's going on, what are you thinking behind the scenes?
Well, the truth is that you do know what's going on, right?
Okay.
Like you've seen it, you've been around it, and there's a difference between knowing what's going on and what the public gets to know, right? For it to have made it out into mainstream media, this has been going on for a long time behind the scenes. So I don't buy that his teammates are wondering. His teammates are picking up the phone like, dude, what's up? Or his teammates are like, man, I'm glad you finally said something. Or, yeah, we need to get you some help. So I don't really believe that there are quote unquote secrets like that. Now, they obviously may not know everything that's going on in the front office or what moves they're going to make, because that is the stuff that's really um you know beyond kept beyond like locking, under super secret. Nobody knows what their draft boards look like, nobody
Yeah.
knows what their targets look like in free agency. And yes, teams will bait stuff out there just to get a response or to put a competitor down, kind of a rabbit hole in the wrong direction. So, what I would say is the teammates know what's going on with Russ. What they don't know is what the response from the front office slash coaching staff will be. But those guys, yeah, they know.
Seahawks have KJ Wright, Shaq Griffin, and Chris Carson all as free agents. We'll have to see what they do in free agency to surround or to not surround Russell Wilson.
Pass rush. Hashtag D line. Hashtag get after the quarterback. Hashtag I heard that Shaq Barrett is hitting the open market, and
He
that's
is.
a big, big, big target of mine. That dude can go. You need a dog up front. Like, you need some dogs. Like, I haven't seen any dog from the Seahawks except for Jamal Adams, and that again is a fundamental problem to me, right? But if you're going to run like a Legion of Boom, you
Right.
need some guys who are actually bringing the boom, right? We may just have the Legion right now, but it's more like the Foreign Legion that it is the Legion of Boom.